Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. Today's video is a thrift with me. I know I haven't posted a video in a while. I do have a bunch filmed, so I have still been thrifting. So I did film this a few weeks ago, but they did actually have some Christmas stuff out, which surprised me because I remember the Salvation Army used to never have Christmas things out until after Remembrance Day, which is November 11th, but this would have been like the very beginning of November, so it was nice to see some Christmas stuff out already. I feel like I always find a lot of really good Christmas things at Salvation Army, or at least I have in the past. A lot of like 70s things specifically. Spoiler alert, I didn't find anything on this day, but I mean, it's early in the year. This isn't my style, but I did think it was really cute. I think it would be cute for like Thanksgiving or something in the fall. And then I noticed this like action figure back here that's HeMan, which I loved HeMan when I was a kid. That was like a very popular show when I was a little kid. And this one actually wasn't like vintage or anything, but sometimes they're still worth money. So John sells this kind of stuff on his eBay store. So I was looking at that, and I did end up showing it to him, and he did get it. Skeletor was my favorite, even though he was the bad guy. But yeah, it was cool looking at this. I don't know, but anyway, it was definitely worth more money than what they were charging for it, so that was cool. So now we are over in the like main area of the shop. I love this Salvation Army. Has this really old like brick wall. I've shown it a bunch before, but up there they had some Corelle. Those clear plates are actually fondue plates, I believe. They had so many dish sets and so many china sets. I always just feel so sad because it's just not that popular anymore. So there's just so many. I feel like every time I go to a thrift store now, I'm probably seeing like 10 to 20, depending on how big the store is. I've been starting to collect just plain like white glass things for something I hope to eventually do someday, but I did end up leaving that one behind. I don't remember what brand it was. Whenever I try to look at the brand on camera, I find it really hard to see. I thought this was interesting. I don't think I've ever seen it before, where it's like you put the casserole dish in a basket, and then right after that I saw this one, so I'm assuming they probably came from the same home, but I think it looked really nice actually, versus just like putting it on, I don't know, I would probably just put a casserole on like a pot holder. Do actually have some vintage like stands for casserole dishes, but I barely ever use them. I just don't think about it. I saw this recipe box from Sweet and Low. It just had a bunch of printed recipes in it. So I feel like Sweet and Low was really popular in the like 90s. But then I did notice another one, which is weird to see two like so close together like that. And when I opened this one up, it was filled with handwritten recipes, and I almost started crying in the store. I don't know why, it just made me so emotional. I think maybe it's just thinking about my grandparents, and I don't know. It's just interesting. My great-grandma actually lived in this town that we were in. It's definitely not hers or anything, but I don't know. I was just like looking through it, and I was debating on whether or not I should buy it. But I ended up not buying it. But I was thinking like, oh, I wanted to buy it because I wanted someone to have it who would like appreciate it. Like I didn't want the recipes to get thrown out. But I don't know. Ultimately, I was like, I have enough stuff that I don't need to like add in someone else's sentimental things. But I did just think it was really sweet, just seeing it. Lately, I've been starting to look a little bit closer at like bins of plastic stuff. I keep thinking like maybe I'll find some rare piece of vintage Tupperware, but there was nothing in there today except that juice jug, which does have a lot of nostalgia for me because I've mentioned a million times, but just in case you don't know, my mom sold Tupperware in the 80s and 90s, so our house was filled with everything Tupperware, so it always gives me very like childhood nostalgic vibes. I always like to look at the cookbooks too, because you never know. I do frequently see a lot of vintage cookbooks, but I just stick to the Better Homes and Gardens and Betty Crocker, which is probably a good thing because like I barely have enough room to keep those now. I'm at the point now where I shouldn't be buying anymore, but I don't know, it's so hard. There's like a million Better Homes and Gardens out there, so anyway, then we got to the little Christmas section, which I was excited when I saw Christmas like ahead of me. But most of what they had out was just very like modern Christmas stuff, which isn't really my style, but hopefully this stuff finds someone who will appreciate it. And I was actually surprised, but they had all of their Christmas 50% off. So I'm wondering if this wasn't just stuff left over from the previous year that they were maybe trying to clear out before they started bringing out new stuff. I'm sure they probably get Christmas donations all year, but I don't know. I feel like I don't see Christmas stuff that often in Salvation Army until it's like the actual season. So I don't know if they just like keep it out back or what. I noticed they had this big bin of skates out, and that also made me feel nostalgic for childhood. I used to go skating, but I feel like I never really fully knew how to skate. Like I feel like I would just hang on to the side of the rink most of the time. But then I saw this film camera, which was also very nostalgic. I've actually heard that film cameras are kind of making a comeback because the younger generations would have only really like grew up with digital. So I think that's interesting. I was glancing over the like shoe area because we find a lot of boots and resell them. So that's kind of what I was mostly looking for. But then I noticed this kind of really retro looking pair of sneakers, and I want a pair of like retro looking sneakers so bad. But every company I find that has made them, they're usually made out of suede. And since I'm vegan, I don't really want to wear leather shoes. So I don't know, I need to like find a company that's made them that is made completely out of man-made materials. Haven't got there yet, but I have hope. So then I took a look in the back corner. They just have media, so CDs. I noticed this country CD that was like Dolly Parton, Tammy Wynette, and Loretta Lynn. My mom was a big country music fan. And then I always check the VHS. This movie, I kind of wish I would have got it. It's Michael Landon and Priscilla Presley. And that Priscilla Presley movie just came out. But I didn't. But I bet you it's one of those like kind of cheesy, like made for TV movies. So I don't know. Maybe I should have. I didn't end up finding anything in there that interested me, or I already had the movie. So you win some, you lose some. But I did look through the records, even though most of the time there's mostly country records in here, which it definitely was mostly country. There was a bunch of Elvis records, though. I'm not an Elvis fan, so I just left them for someone else. But obviously someone donated their collection. But I am on a mission to get all of the Firestone Christmas records. I only have one left to get, and I'm just hoping that over this season I find it somewhere. So I've been diligently looking through records everywhere I go, just hoping that I find it. It's actually volume 1 that I need. I actually feel like I should look up and see a picture of it so I know what color it is to look for, but I just love those records. They're so pretty to look at. And then they didn't have much out for furniture stuff, but I did notice this really retro looking mailbox, which I've never seen mailboxes like that in Canada. So I don't know. We actually don't get mail delivered to our house, so I don't even need a mailbox, but I just loved it. And then over in the picture area, I noticed this big picture, and this would have been perfect for that trend that was going around where people were repainting old paintings and making them spooky. I feel like this would have been perfect for that. It was pretty expensive though, so I don't know if it would have been, the price probably wouldn't have been right for that. They didn't really have a whole lot in the kind of appliance section. Sometimes they have some cool retro looking appliances, although the popcorn maker definitely looked probably like 80s. I did notice this VCR DVD combo, but it was $35, I think. John had previously seen that. I don't know, I guess they're probably getting harder to find. We have quite a few already and quite a few backup VCRs, so I feel like we're kind of set unless we find one for $5 or $10. So we might pick it up. And then kind of the last section before cash is the linens and blankets and everything. I feel like Salvation Army might be the best place to get vintage linens. Their prices are amazing. I did end up getting something on this day. I used to just sort of pass them over because maybe they weren't my exact style, but I'm starting to think I should pick them up, especially at Salvation Army, because they're really, really well priced. Like pillowcases are generally only $1, and I think the sheets are usually $2, maybe $2.50, which that's incredible for vintage linens. So I don't know, I'm feeling like I should just start picking any up, and then if I end up just not wanting them, I can sell them. I don't know. I love when I see handmade, like hand-sewn placemats. It reminds me of my grandma so much because she used to have stuff like that all the time. I mean, she still does use placemats, but I don't think they're homemade. It's very cute though. See, like this pillowcase here, I noticed. And yeah, it's only $1. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get that. I'm also on a mission to look for vintage towels now too, and I feel like Salvation Army is a good place for that. They did have some vintage-ish looking ones. I wasn't 100% sure, but they weren't the style that I was looking for, so I did end up leaving them behind. Although even like now when I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, that is kind of cute, but I ultimately didn't get any that day. I really want to redo my bathroom in more of a late 60s, early 70s style, so I've kind of been keeping my eye out for things like that. So I did end up finding these cards. I didn't show myself looking through them, but I have been looking through the cards at basically every thrift store I go to. I usually buy my cards there anyway, but I've been finding a lot of vintage ones lately, so it's been motivating me to look through them. I don't know, like, I don't think I'll keep them all, but I figured they're only 50 cents a piece, so I did find a lot of cute ones on this day, and then in another video that I've filmed recently, I found a bunch more. So I don't know, I'm kind of excited about it. We'll see how long I end up doing this for, and then maybe I'll just make lots of them and sell them online. I'm not sure. But I did end up getting a cookbook. I did find the microwave cookbook, so that was exciting. And I also found this holiday decorations book. This is from the 70s, and I was super excited, but it turns out that I did already thrift this at some other point this year since last Christmas, so I'm just gonna sell that one. But then I found this really cool book. It was a little bit pricey. It was like $9, I think, but it's called Women in War, and I thought it would be really cool to have. I love collecting like coffee table books, and I have a cool coffee table with this glass part over top so I can stack a whole bunch of them. So I thought this would be cool to add to that. There's a lot of really cool pictures in it. I think it would be interesting to read through, so I got that. And then I did end up getting some linen. So I got these pillowcases. These might not be that old. Maybe they're like 80s. But they did have 2 of them that matched, so I thought, oh, well, that's perfect. I really want to get for like our second bedroom, like my office craft room, I really want to get a couch that will pull out into a bed in there. That way it can double as like guest place to sleep. We don't get guests that often, but when we do, it'd be nice to have a few places to sleep. So I ended up getting this pillowcase as well, which I think is really pretty. It's not the style that I would normally get, but I'm starting to think that like a perfectly kind of mismatched sheets would look really cute. So I did end up getting this blue sheet, which I'm kind of obsessed with, but it's not what I would normally get. Like it doesn't go with my bedroom, but it is a double size, so it could fit on a pull-out couch size bed. So I don't know, I just think it could look cute having, it's like I don't know, like perfectly mismatched, like if it's the same color tone, I don't know. Anyway, we'll see how that works out, but I do think this one is super pretty. I do like it when the tags are still attached, because then if I want to go online and try to find a match for it, you know, it's easier to find versus just typing in like vintage blue sheet. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. That is it for today. I do have a bunch of videos filmed, so I will hopefully be posting on a regular basis again. And yeah, I'm feeling better. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again soon.